Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be wrapping up on this conversation. Nima had a question. Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking at this and I feel that it's unresolvable where we are going, but it's also very scary that you just said 12 years.
12 months.
12 months. I mean, it can be extended to 12 months. That's how scared I was. It sounded like years, And we want to be in a democratic system, and we have to have a democratic system in Rivers State. Is this, if the worst case scenario happens, is totally unresolvable, can there, is there any other provisions of the Constitution that resolves this democratically?
What are the other options, right?
What other options are there?
Well, I mean, there are not many other options. I think if after 12 months they are still entrenched in their own position and there is no rapprochement between them, then clearly, in the interest of the state, somebody will have to go. I mean, so either the governor or the House of Assembly, somebody has to go. But clearly, from what is said, it will be the governor that would be easier to remove as a result. But what that would have done is it would have given the government 12 months, if we go that far, to put measures in place to mitigate any potential impact. And number two, there are many supporters of the governor himself who after 12 months would have been, some would have been fed up to say, look, this needs to be resolved. So as a result, the only solution I see if after 12 months is, somebody will have to be removed through legal means, and that really means through impeachment, because removing the 27 members or House of Assembly is more problematic, is more difficult rather, because that means you have to recall each of them, through each of their constituencies. That's a lot more laborious and difficult undertaking. But whereas impeachment of the governor would be, a more of a straightforward thing.
Okay.
If after 12 months.
Right.
I think they need to understand that there's time to have peace in that state, and there's a need for compromise.
Right.
And that I think is what's not happening at the moment.
Okay. Ma'am?
And by the way, the other thing is, the president need to have stern words with the Minister of FCT side of things. They need to, stop this nonsense and allow the state to have some peace.
Exactly.
So again, that means compromise on their side as well.
Okay.
So I'd also like to know what the opposite will be if they're able to resolve on time and everything. Is this something that can be reviewed in, let's say, in a month? But I'm also curious, just,
Oh, yes.
Okay, just so that you answer both at the same time.
I mean, if they are able to come to an agreement, the president will be informed, okay, we've reached an agreement, and it will reverse the proclamation, and the House will again, affirm it, and then the sole administration is vacated.
Okay, but I'm also curious to know, like, in the period of the suspension, how does the suspended governor carry himself? Does he still have his security details? What does he do in this time? Where does he stay? Where is he?
He's a regular citizen.
Is this just a regular citizen walking the streets?
It's almost like asking what happened to a suspended senator. I mean,
Governor is different.
Well, I think in this case, yes, he still is a citizen. I mean, you don't need to be a governor to have security detail. I'm sure he will still have security detail. And some things like vehicles and other things I'm sure will still be made available to him. I mean, for example, the House of Assembly members are suspended. They're not vacating their residences. They're still going to be there during the period of suspension. So some of the things they're entitled to will still be there. It's just the executive or legislative powers that they cannot exercise at the moment. So I'm sure the governor will be safe. I mean, we have enough security as he needs. But I think, like I said, the important thing is they need to meet each other. And this is where all those elders, in Rivers and even in the country as a whole, need to bring both parties together with very stern warning. It's almost like locking them up in a room and saying they're not getting out until they agree something. You know, so I mean, you know, there has to be a drastic step taken to ensure that is agreement between them to shorten this state of emergency and return the state to normality.
Okay. I think I'll let you go at this point. But finally, do you think the president can survive all this barrage of criticism? Because there's quite a bit of people that are, they're criticizing this move. Not so much of the state of emergency, but the illegality of suspending the governor and the lawmakers. So this is something that the president also has to consider. Do you think he can survive this barrage of criticisms?
I'm sure he can survive it. I mean, having the state of emergency and leaving the governor and the House of Assembly in place is a fruitless exercise.
Right.
Because what you are more or less saying is if that's what he did, then the impeachment process will have continued during a state of emergency.
Right.
So you can see the inconsistency in that. So the temperature will continue to rise even though we have state of emergency. So I don't think by necessity he had any choice other than suspend them.
Okay.
You know, so I'm sure maybe what the government could do over time is to see if some of this intelligence report could be, you know,
revealed
one way or the other, some of them made public so that the public can understand the thinking behind it.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Mali. I have to let you go.
Understand that there's a logic to it.
I have to let you go at this point. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate your views this morning. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.